Well, earlier today, despite what the Scoopers had to say, the trailer for Captain America Brave New World finally came out, and it didn't disappoint. We got a lot of questions answered in the trailer, so I thought we could take a couple minutes to dive into it and talk about some of the more interesting details. Lots of rumors confirmed in today's outing. Now, before we do that though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos, and we want to be your place for all the superhero news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently so you are in the know. Well, despite announcements from many of the Scoopers that the trailer was coming our way earlier this week, we finally got our first look at Captain America Brave New World earlier today. Now, this movie has been in production and reproduction for quite a long time, with it recently adding a lot of new reshoots, and some of them seem quite apparent in this first trailer. The trailer seems to confirm a lot of the rumors that we've been hearing over the last couple of months, and we even got our first look at the Red Hulk. But let's get to that in just a minute. Now, I think the first thing you have to take from the trailer is the nice little nod to a new actor. As many of you know, Harrison Ford took over the role of Thunderbolt Ross. And just like when they replaced Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle, well, an introductory statement between two characters seems to make it super clear what's going on. If you remember correctly, when Cheadle replaced Howard, when he walked into the room, he basically said, "Look, it's me, I'm here, deal with it, let's move on." In one of the quite honestly most amazing ways to recast a character I've ever seen. Looks like they're doing the same thing with Thunderbolt Ross, making a joke about the mustache, and if this works, it'll make it pretty easy to move on with Harrison Ford playing the character, however long that lasts. Now, we got a lot of Giancarlo Esposito in the trailer, and that totally caught me off guard. We didn't find out till recently he had joined the film, and his character has been a mystery. Now, pretty much in all the clips we saw him in the trailer, he was dressed very similar to the screenshots we got from the set leaked pictures. But it appears, even though this was part of the reshoots, he might have a really big role in this film, and honestly, as an antagonist, you probably couldn't find a better actor. Now, in the same trailer, we also got our first look at Sabra. Now, Sabra is going to be played by Shira Haas, and her real-life name is Ruth Bat-Seraph. Now, there's a lot of controversy surrounding this character, but it appears she is indeed going to be reimagined for the Marvel Universe. Now, what we are hearing is she is actually a former Black Widow, and now is a high-ranking US government official who has the full trust of President Ross. This totally calls into question her role in this movie, whether she's even a hero or not. The fact that she was a former Black Widow, a rather unscrupulous profession even if we like some of the other characters, and now is close to Ross, who is definitely no hero. Well, honestly, I have more questions about the character now than before. One of the more interesting moments in this trailer that caught everybody's eye was a funeral scene, and that's got people asking questions. Now, there is a distinct possibility this funeral they're attending, well, that is the funeral of Steve Rogers. We haven't seen Old Man Steve since the end of Avengers Endgame, and even though he's been teased quite a few times since then, he has been completely MIA. Honestly, Marvel would want fans thinking that to create more curiosity, and that funeral we're seeing there, heck, that could be at the end of the film, and it could be for Thunderbolt Ross or any number of other characters. We know how Marvel likes to pull people in and out of scenes to create misdirection, so don't read too much into it, but that could be a pretty sad moment. Now, probably one of the highlights of the trailer though, Anthony Mackie bringing Sam Wilson to life. Now, Mackie has the ability to bring Wilson to life in a way that's humble and strong at the same time, and you really see that in the scenes with Harrison Ford. But we also got to see him suit up in multiple costumes. We saw him in the blue costume, and we saw him in the white costume, as well as that back shot with the wings extended in the red, white, and blue. And towards the end of the trailer, we also got him in the full-faced helmet, which sees him going supersonic. That was pretty cool. Now, the trailer also confirmed that Tiamut is definitely a big part of this film, and a rumor we've been hearing for a long time. As many of you remember, a giant hand and head was sticking out of the Indian Ocean at the end of the Eternals. It's come up a few times, and the rumors of this being at the center of the plot for this movie seems to have now been confirmed. Now, the rumor is the whole statue is made of adamantium, and if you're familiar with the Marvel Universe, you know that is a huge deal. Adamantium and vibranium are very similar, super strong metals, and traditionally in the Marvel Universe, adamantium are what Wolverine's bones are covered with and his claws are made of. So bringing adamantium into the MCU is going to be a huge deal, and it appears, yes, multiple governments of the world might actually be competing for that giant piece of the metal, and that's at the center of the conflict. Now, one of the points made in the trailer that totally caught me off guard was Isaiah Bradley. Now, if you pay attention, when President Ross comes under attack, that's definitely Isaiah Bradley taking on the current US president. Now, why this is happening, that's totally up in the air. Obviously, the character's history could play into this story, but there's something else going on here that's part of the mystery because Bradley is a good guy. There's got to be a reason he's coming after Ross, and I think that mystery is going to be one of the driving questions that pushes a wedge between Sam Wilson and Thunderbolt Ross throughout the film. Wilson obviously idolizes Bradley, and the two characters definitely understand each other, so that connection is going to play into this movie somehow, and I don't think Bradley's a bad guy here, but it's unclear what his motivations are or even if he's being mind controlled. Don't forget, the leader is part of this film. We also get a very quick look at Blake Nelson as the leader. Now, he does appear to have green skin, although in the shot it could have just been some green light. He hasn't been seen in the MCU since the original 2008 Hulk film, and bringing him back for this movie was absolute genius. The path here has been pretty clear with this character. He's definitely the one who hired out the wrecking crew to grab the She-Hulk's blood, and that She-Hulk story that a lot of people don't like, I think is going to play bigger into this film, and quite honestly, I would not be surprised if the She-Hulk actually shows up before the end of the film. That's probably something Marvel kept under wraps, but would totally work for this story, and it seems like Sam's going to need some backup when he faces off with the Red Hulk. Now, something I totally predicted, and it turned out to be true, that we did indeed get to see the Red Hulk in the trailer, but just for a second at the very end. I didn't think they would give the full reveal of the character in the trailer, but I knew we would be teased. And I'm happy to report, despite some of those early looks at the character, the Red Hulk, for at least what we got to see of him, definitely looks to be up to par. Now, we didn't get a good look at his face, but you could definitely see the gray hair on the side of his head, just like Harrison Ford. I'm really curious if Harrison Ford did the mocap work for this character or just the face work, but in any case, it's definitely super clear that somehow or another Sam Wilson will be facing off with the Red Hulk, and that's probably the climax of the film, and something that should be quite the power matchup. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot more trailers coming our way before this film comes out. It's not hitting theaters until next February, so we've still got quite a bit of waiting to do. I suspect we'll get at least 2 more trailers, and then the clips will start to flow, but I wouldn't be looking for a lot else until probably late this fall, when the hype train for this project goes into high gear, probably right after Agatha All Along drops. Obviously, we're going to follow Captain America pretty close. I'm curious to see Sam Wilson's outing in this, and I'm pretty hopeful this movie is a success because I am a huge Red Hulk fan, but we're going to have to wait and see.